Hey y'all, welcome back to the shop. It's after hours again, we're just hanging out. So today we're just going to jump right into it. We are doing a redraw for one of the subscribers, Golden Eggies, another friend of the channel. And his character that he wanted me to redraw was another one of his villains, whose name is Chucklenuts, which is a hilarious name for a character. It sounds like something that your uncle, who's also an avid biker, might call someone who's cracking a joke at his expense. He'd be like, well, watch what you're saying there, Chuckle Nuts. Which I think is funny. So I'll pop that character up on the screen here now. That's his original villain character, and who appears to be a balloon clown wearing oversized shorts and clown shoes and a jester hat with a clown nose. So super cool. You'll also notice the other villain that we did, one of the other villains that we did for Golden Eggies before Block, is down in the left hand side. We did another video on that. You can super check that out if you want to. Otherwise, but we're going to do Chucklenuts today. Alright, so get this ready and let us get started. Now, so one of the things I noticed when I'm looking at this guy is he's got a lot of circles going on, which to me says that while he is a villain, he's probably not all that threatening. Maybe more goofy than anything else. A lot of circles and rounded shapes, right? There's really, in the original picture, there aren't a whole lot of like really sharp jagged edges or like triangles, sharp teeth, none of that. It's all just really circular, which indicates a more soft character, which often, without subverting expectations, means that the character's more comedic, less threatening. Certainly you can have characters that are very threatening with those kinds of shapes and stuff like that. It would be a subversion to have them that way, and that's fine. But let's see. Well, I don't want the text. Let's get started with the redraw. So we'll try and keep the shape language the same that it is. One of the key things, though, when I try to redraw these characters for the subscribers, is I'm not looking at this and saying, how can I make this better? I'm looking at this saying, how can I make this in my style, while maintaining the heart and soul of the character that was created, which often are very unique, very creative. And so one of the things I think what we can do is give the character an interesting pose. So what I was thinking, we'll just do very basic. We can go over this with red, I think, this time. Very basic shapes. The head. We're going to want this character looking down like this. And then he's going to be, and this is just very basic. I know he's kind of, his whole body's made of like strings except for his head that's like a balloon. We're going to have a really rounded shape here, kind of bending over. So if you think about the spine would be coming like this. And he's really leaning down, almost like bowing. The hand here, he's got three like stringy fingers. They kind of look like balloons, but they're they're just parts of the string. And then maybe we can even have this arm, so we'll move him a little bit down here. Have this arm just like going up like this. This is the back of the hand, or something to that degree. Like this. There we go, with his little three fingers on this hand. And he's just making a bow. He's like, introducing Chucklenuts. And then he's gonna have the balloon tail like right here or something. And so everything, it looks like on the original picture kind of connect to this spot here. So his little suspenders would come here, and these suspenders come down here. And they would all attach, so we would also make the pelvic area here, even though he doesn't really have one. He's just like a big string of, it's almost like a vertebral string. He's gonna have that kind of almost tipped down shorts, but we really want to exaggerate that pose. So his shorts will be here, but they'll be exaggerated. A little too crazy there on that one. And then his leg, you know, they come down like this. They're just strings. And we're gonna have his giant clown shoes. So let's make him, we drew him a little too big maybe. Oh, going back into other projects now. Okay, let's make him a little smaller so we can fit him better on the canvas. And again, I have to have the canvas this way, oriented vertically, so that it'll fit in a short that doesn't get cut off. I prefer to draw on canvases that are lengthwise like this, or crosswise rather, like this. But they get cut off in shorts, so all of the picture doesn't make it, which is super frustrating. So I have to keep it like oriented like this. Also, it doesn't make it on Instagram very well when it's oriented in landscape. So it's unfortunate, but it's what we have to do. But anyways, we can have him kind of like standing up here with his oversized clown shoes. A little part where his foot goes in there. And then we've got it coming down here. We'll make his foot like this here. This oversized clown shoe. And the best we can, just try to, we can always like give him some extra slack in each of the arms here. And then his hat is going to come on like this. We don't want to cover up his eyes too much, because I do still want him to look like up. Like this, looking up. And leave an area for his mouth there. So we'll give his hat this bit, and it's just like maybe leaning over this way. That way it's not flopping down in front of his face, so we can't see. And then he's got bells. He's got bells on the tips. There we go. Can maybe make that arm a little longer. Oops, too big like that. Just stretch it out, make it longer. Erase our wayward line. Something like that. We can figure that out on the red phase. See, and then a lot of this stuff isn't, this stuff here is not going to be covered up like this because he's just made a string, so we're going to be able to see pretty much everything. So this part of the pants will be open because he's tilted down. His pelvic arc is downward. gonna pull the transparency down on this, and we will create a new layer like that with the red sketch. Okay, and we're going to now iron out maybe some of those details. Go down to 20. Okay, so the hat, let's actually get the balloon head in here, because we have to emphasize that his head is a balloon. That seems like almost the core theme of the character, is that he's a balloon clown. So I want to make sure that that's clear. He's got the little knot tied in here. And then the little tail of it, the end of the balloon that you blow into, it goes like right here. Let's see, and then the hat, he's wearing a hat, so this isn't, but this jester thing is not like part of his head, it's just a hat that he's wearing. It's got this little brim on the front. Sort of, it's not like a brim, it's like a band that attaches, it can squeeze around the head. I'm gonna go here to make this little bell. There we go. Yeah, I just think it's important to make sure you're honoring, when you do these redraws and stuff like that, that you're really honoring at least the spirit of the character. Never try to change the character too much. Sometimes I may forget stuff. Apologize if that happens. And then his eyes here, like this one's kind of like squinty, almost like he's like curious or like suspicious or whatever. Actually move this other eye down just a little bit maybe. We don't have to move the other one, just this one down. And what we're really trying to do here is take inspiration from other creators. We can make the eyebrow come over the hat just because the character, oh, so he's actually, now that I think about it, he's actually got really big defined eyebrows. So here it would be like, there we go. And then for here, it would be like more suspicious, so it'd be like up here, like this. There we go. In taking inspiration from other creators that you like or that you think does good work, for instance, one of the people that we're going to be taking a little bit of inspiration from this week, or for this particular image, is going to be like Vivzy Pop, and a sort of Hell of a Boss type of character where the eyes are oversized and normally disproportioned. So they're typically, what you'd have is like one eye length in between, but in Vivzy Pop's work, it's not. It's super stylized, and it's actually really interesting to look at, because the eyes and the mouth often take up huge amounts of space in the character. And I think it's just an interesting way to draw. So we're going to be taking some inspiration from that. And instead of his frown that he has on the original reference picture, we're going to maybe give him a smirk. He has rounded teeth too. So that's another thing with the shape language. I think because he's got the rounded teeth, he's really not supposed to be like a Blitzo or a, you know, a Vox from Has Been Hotel or anything like that. He's not supposed to, or Alistair, he's not supposed to be hyper threatening. Just supposed to be like, I'm gonna ruin your day through excessive whimsy or irritation. Alright, and then he's got the body that is going to come down. We're going to bring it up here. Here's his shoulder. Give him little wiggly arms or whatever. And then here's the hand. He actually doesn't really have a hand, so maybe we'll leave that out. And we'll just give him the string, so it should all look like it's connected. And not a single part of it's really not. So it loops back around here. That's what we'll do. Because it needs to look like it's looping around. And coming back around here. Because there's, with these strings that they tie on the ends of the balloons, it's usually just one string, right? It's not a bunch of strings combined. They'll tie it like around this balloon bit right here. They'll tie one string, and that's what you get, and then you know, tie it around your kid's hand or whatever. So what we want to make it look like is this is just one continuous string that's coming around. Like it goes up and back, and then the end of it is like tied up around here, and then goes down maybe into one of the feet or something. Or is, you know, maybe in here somewhere, it terminates here, but the string goes, you know, all the way up and down or something. And then he's got these little suspenders that hold up his shorts. And we want to make sure that we're also not making any really hard jagged edges on these. So that's not what the character, at least that's not what the character describes to me. And I could have that wrong. And let me know. I didn't get an explanation for the character when Eggy's asked me to do it, which is fine. So going on based on how he's designed it, that's how I think he has designed it. So make here for structure, this is his like spine. And then there's gonna be the back of the suspenders here. I'll make sure that for me, later, I understand that this is actually the back of the suspenders, and we can see through because it's not a solid object, it's the string. We can see through here like that, and that's the back of the suspenders. I'm gonna hope I can see that when I go to ink it. This character is super fun, super unique. Never would have thought to make a balloon animal like a villain. So well done on the design. And his original design's actually really good. He's a good artist. I don't know why he asked me to redraw his stuff. Like, I'm happy to do it, but half of his art's like, you know, way better than mine, so. But that's okay. Like I said, I love doing this stuff, working with all of the community and stuff. So let's see. So he's got like colorful bubbles on the pants, but not on the hat. The hat's just a solid color. See. we'll make the arm up here wiggly too. Okay. Want a circle like this. And we don't want to give him a hand because he's not what he doesn't have a hand in the reference photo. We can give him one, but like I said, I just want to really try to keep the spirit of the character without changing too many details. He could have an extensive backstory that I don't know of. And maybe that's why he doesn't have, you know, defined hands or, you know, whatever, defined spine. Why he doesn't have like a full balloon animal body. He's just kind of like the balloon like you can get, you know, at the dollar store or whatever. Okay. I'm gonna go, let's see. So we want to make sure we're being consistent with the boots, or with the boots, the clown shoes here. So it's gonna have this big bit here where the foot goes in. And then maybe you could see the heel from the back a little bit. And then I'm going to change it so it's not going to be twisted to the side. It's going to be twisted to like the front here. There we go. And he's going to be kind of pressing it this way. And then we're going to not go as crazy on that little, I don't know what that's called, where your foot goes in this bit. If you know, let me know. I have no idea what that's called. I'm sure it has a name. If there's any shoe smiths out there, feel free to let me know. Or shoe aficionados, anyone who knows a lot more about shoes than me. I still feel like this one's way bigger than the other one. We'll try and tone that down a little bit too. There. Maybe if we move this in, instead of redrawing it, move it in. A little better. Sure. Okay, so there's the red. Get rid of the blue. Oops. I think so. And then we can give him the little colorful bubbles that he has. He's got like one in the corner here. It's kind of like floating around in here. He's a clown. I know Eggy's told me he's a villain, so he's not like some kind of you know, fun clown. He's more like maybe a clown gone wrong. Someone laughed at him and not with him or something one time. You know, I'll put one right there. We'll make it up here. Offset this bubble because it's on a crease. There we go. Looks okay, I think. Now, to me, it looks like the reference photo has hair right here, like these little strands of hair like this. It also kind of looks like it's shading. So I'm not gonna give him hair, but we will shade right there on the ink step. So we'll go ahead and cut the opacity of that layer down and get moving towards the inking stuff now. Okay, and we're moving pretty quick on this one, and that's good. I don't like wasting too much of your guys' time. Hopefully you don't feel like it's wasted being here. Hopefully you find some entertainment value. Let's see. Now, what we're going to try to do here is decrease this. That's way too thick. Still too thick. A little better. We are going to try to give the character harsh lines, thick lines for outlining. The eyes in Vivzi's stuff often are very well defined, and so we're going to try and do that. And when you use another creator's techniques kind of in this way, it's not stealing, so don't be afraid to explore the best parts of your favorite creators, because it isn't stealing. What you're doing is you're adapting their style to yours. Now, Vivzi's eyes don't often have the internal colors here. It's not outlined like they have. They're just like colors. So I guess that's where her style and mine would merge. So my outlines are just like heavy outlines. So what she does is often reduces the size or the line weight for these outside structures, because what I've noticed for her animation is that she will almost force you to focus your attention on their facial expressions. That's why they're really broad expressions, like these huge expressions. Like when they're really energetic or something, their eyes are like, if this is the head, their eyes are like taking up like most of the area, or they're like this or something, and then their mouth is like taking up a lot of the space then too. That's how I perceive her work, and it does make it super interesting to watch her animations for sure. It just makes it kind of difficult to replicate it sometimes. It's such a unique style. Try not to make these too sharp. Trying. I don't know if I'm succeeding, but we're trying. There we go. So this is the knot part right here. The part that holds the air in, because you knotted the end of it. There we go. Hopefully that looks like a balloon. I think it kind of does. I don't know. Hopefully it looks like that to you guys. Silhouettes are hugely important in character creation too. You want to make sure that if you black everything out, you can still see the character. You still know who it is. The obvious example that everyone always uses is Goku. You can identify Goku's silhouette from a light year away because of his unique hairstyle. If you were to remove the hairstyle, like if you shaved Goku bald, you probably would not be able to pick him out of a crowd anymore, especially a Dragon Ball crowd. Because the problem with Toriyama, and I know we've talked about this before, is a lot of his characters tend to have the same body types. Tall and muscular, because they're fighters. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just one of those things, like if you were to black out all of the the characteristics of all of them and remove their hair. But then I suppose you could probably say that about any anime, or really anything in general. If you remove the one defining feature that the character has, of course you're not going to be able to recognize them. You know, with Dragon Ball, it's the hair. With, you know, One Piece, it's the straw hat. That's definitely got a unique aesthetic to it too. Eiichiro Oda has such a unique art style. We did that wrong. You could just recognize you could recognize that it's his work, regardless. There we go. And then the string is going to be a little more thin, I think. Spin it around here, give it some personality. Like this, there, make it look like it's circling back around. It doesn't have to look like it all the way, like it can come back in. That because he's made of balloon string. Okay, so we want to go bigger for these suspenders. Go like this. Nope. Nope. Okay, try that. And then come back around. This one. Oh boy. Shouldn't have stopped midline. Okay. And then the back of the suspenders here as well. There we go. Okay. Now his body has that vertebral, string, I guess you could call it. But let's get this first. It comes up in the circle here. Maybe a circle there, and then we want like that. Try not to make it too like weird, but to look like it's actually a string. I've said that probably 1,000 times now. You probably get sick of hearing it. That's what I'm going for. Okay, and let's do this. So this line's going to be in the way. There we go. We give it a bunch of structure down the middle. Okay, and then we're going to pull the shorts across here. And I guess we don't have to worry too much about lines crossing over since the body is made entirely of string. Pull this across like this here. Trying to maintain as confident of lines as we can. I know my lines do get a little shaky. I'm working on it. Okay, give him some creases to make the pants look real. And we come down here like this-ish. Okay, we don't want it to look like it terminates right here. We want to make it look like this string still goes down here and occupies the space. Same on this side. It's coming down here and occupying space inside the shoe. Oops. There we go. Around here. Like this. I feel like maybe it needs to be a little wider. I don't know. Like this, maybe. Okay, sure. Yeah, why not? Let's get some of these bubbles filled in. Well, not filled in, but at least drawn. And that's going to be offset because of the crease. Get some of these in here. Coloring this is going to be fun and interesting, but I'll do that. I can do that off camera, and not that I'm on camera anyway, but we can do that off the camera so that we can have that part be for the short, really. I have been, now I didn't forget this time to record the time lapse. So you'll get everything start to finish on the short this time, instead of just the ink and color. But I think what we're gonna do maybe for the background, yeah, that looks okay, is we're going to create the background here, and we're gonna make a spotlight like this on him. I might shrink him down and put him up on one of those like little circus pedestals or something, or not. Maybe we'll just give him ground to stand on. But that's the idea for the background. Give him that to kind of hang on to. But anyway, I think that's it for this one. I appreciate you hanging out and listening to me yammer on about how I designed these characters, and this one in particular called Chucklenuts, courtesy of Golden Eggies, and I appreciate you allowing me to redraw this character. Like I said, I really do enjoy it. So until next time, thanks for hanging out.